Guys, we should be live,
Nice.
right? I think we got this thing figured out. All right, welcome everybody. This is the Twin Cities Carry live show. It's our bi-weekly uh, Facebook live show. I'm Shane. I'm an instructor with Twin Cities Carry. With me is Jim and AJ, both instructors with Twin Cities Carry. AJ happens to own the company, so it might be worth mentioning. Tonight we're going to look at, we're going to talk about suppressors. I think we're going to talk about, I don't know how to term it, but less than ethical permit to carry companies. Possibly get into some NFA Act items and whatever else comes up. I figured we'd start with maybe just kind of touch on what we've been doing over the last 2 weeks ourselves. Jim, you got anything new going on other than that Guy Fieri haircut?
No, I am happy to say though, for those that have been with us for the spring and the summer, we are finally just about caught up with getting range tests scheduled. So that is a big relief. There is light at the end of the tunnel finally.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
been
appreciate the patience on all of you getting here.
And we're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, it has. It's been a drastic effort to get caught up, stay atop of things, given everything that has happened in the last 7 months.
Yeah, it's amazing. 7 months feels like 7 days and 7 years at the same time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really freaking does. We were talking about that today, that somehow it's September already, and I swear to God, just yesterday it was March, and we were just learning about COVID and lockdowns. And
I got to tell you, it's a bag of mixed emotions for me. Business wise, it's a record-setting year for us, and I'm sure every gun company out there, whether they're involved in sales or training or any part of the process. But holy crap! I mean, our instructors are going 7 days a week to try and keep up. And for a while there, we were failing, and we're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But it's great. It's stressful. It's rewarding. It's amazing to see all the new people at the range, even those not coming to us. But the ranges, even during COVID, have been packed full in a season in which indoor ranges usually aren't. So
right,
it's
100%.
It's been good for them too. So
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's crazy. We've seen a lot of new people. We've seen a lot of. We fielded a lot of questions on, how do I find firearms? How do I find ammunition? Where can I buy a gun? I can't find anything. Yeah, I don't know. It's been
Yeah,
good.
the problem right now is simply that some of the ranges are slowing down simply because the customers don't have ammunition. That's sad.
Yes.
yeah, it's coming in spurts. It's harder to find than it used to be, but when people load up, they load up big time because they're waiting for those big orders they put in a month or two ago, and they finally come. And so one place will have stacked shelves, and everybody else is out, and that one place moves around.
Yeah, I was looking at ammo online just recently, and 22 long rifle was expensive and hard to find. 9 millimeters non-existent. Although you kind of hear little rumors and little tips that such and such. Shields has a case of 9 millimeter. Sportsman's Guide has boxes of 1,000.
Yeah, but if you're not in the car already on the way when you get that notification, they're out by the time you get there.
Yeah.
I have the benefit of working very close to Sportsman's Guide, so if I hear it's there, I run down and grab some if I can. I try not to be that guy that's buying a couple thousand when I don't really need it. But before we get too deep into it, I mean, realistically, we won't see ammo for another
4, 5, 6 months.
middle of 2021. I mean, no matter what happens with the election, uh, I don't think either outcome is beneficial to us as gun owners for ammunition or for firearms. Uh, I don't know. The panic buying is going to continue. So,
And it extends to guns too. There are a lot of people out there that want to buy a particular gun, and the stores don't have that one.
yeah, you're starting to see some of them come back into stock. I've seen a lot of MP 2.0s and now Sig Sauer P365s are back. Not just that SAS model. So, that being said, we like to think of ourselves as a pretty reputable company. We think you should spend your money with us for your permit to carry and other training needs. We take what we do very seriously, and we take pride in what we do. That being said, we've seen some stuff locally here and across the country. As I said in the beginning, some less than ethical permit to carry companies. Obviously, we're not going to name names on anything, but I don't know if either you kind of wanted to run through what's been going on with a few of the companies here locally. You guys are a little more abreast to it than I am.
Well, the first one we heard about was a pretty well-known company, and I don't know the details. This was a company that was run by one guy, and then he typically has a business model where he has subcontractors who can work under his name. I don't know if he was the one involved or if it was one of those subcontractors, but somebody in the process who had his name or authorization to use his name was giving out certificates without requiring a range shoot, which is one of the statutory requirements in Minnesota. That's a violation of the agreement with the BCA, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, who is our overseeing authority. And they have yanked his accreditation. And if you go to the sheriff's office with one of his certificates, they turn you down. So you definitely want to investigate that your company knows that, knows what the laws are and is following them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago. Cousin of mine went to purchase a firearm. Didn't have a permit to carry at the time or permit to purchase, and was at a gun shop, and the gun shop owner basically said, "Oh, you can't purchase without a permit to purchase or a permit to carry. But hey, I got this course. You can take it right now. I'll get your certificate today." And I think my cousin answered 10 questions, and the guy was like, "Great, give me $60, 60, $70, whatever it was," and gave him a certificate same day of completion for his safe training and live fire exercise. And my cousin, rightfully so, wasn't 100% certain, and reached out and said, "Hey, I just is this legit?" And my response to him was, "No, it's not. If you didn't live fire exercise, there's a real possibility, you can go turn that certificate in, you can pay your money to your sheriff's office, and you're going to get a permit. But there's a real possibility in the future your permit to carry could be nullified. They could absolutely revoke your permit, and they may or may not send a letter to you. We've seen it in other states, not just in Minnesota. Michigan, there was just something along those lines. So, I mean, you have to be careful.
Well, and Shane, do you want to talk about that example of the ad that you and I followed up on the other night?
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, I was just going to actually say something about that. It's unfortunate. I mean, we are in direct competition with a lot of people, some of them locally, some of them nationally. And because the way reciprocity works, every state's laws are different. The application and testing is different. The shooting requirement is there for some and not for others. And so you will see these ads. Facebook, for example, is a common one where you can take your course online, no shooting necessary, and it's for a valid permit, but it's not a valid permit in this state, right? And so we already have this weird spot or reputation within the gun community that these types of things are I don't know, maybe labeled as scams when they're not quite scams. They're just somewhat not accurate or misleading, right? And then we have these issues where even guys locally, like the two you mentioned, are not doing things legally, and they bring in negative attention. And it's unfortunate because a lot of us do the same processes that these guys are also including, but omitting the second or third or fourth and fifth parts of that training process. And sometimes that negative attention comes towards us unwarranted. And
Yeah.
it sucks for us. It sucks for the other legitimate instructors and gun businesses. The only people that do benefit are those, I don't know if you want to use fly by night or, non-conforming to Minnesota law companies, but they're the only ones that win. It's not our customers, not their customers. It's not the community at large, unfortunately.
Well, we had something else happen that was, not necessarily a violation of law, but just a sign of how good your system needs to be, because we had two of our students go to ranges that also offer permit to carry courses, walk in and say, I need to do my shooting test. One of the instructors from that company put them out on the range, tested them, gave them a certificate. They never went through that company's course. That range, that company never checked to verify that that was actually one of their students. AJ and I talked about that after the first one, and we looked at what we were doing, and we can comfortably say that could not happen with us. That is literally a crack that you can't fall through because that doesn't exist in the way we track our records.
The record keeping and the checks and balances we put in place, it can't occur with us. And it kind of breaks my heart that it can happen anywhere. Luckily, in that specific instance, at least they did all of the steps, just not correctly.
You did all the steps, just not with the same company.
Yeah, I mean, because, what many people don't understand, especially in the state of Minnesota, is it's kind of left vague as to the requirements, specifically when it comes to the shooting test. The state does not specify what the shooting test is, right? And so every company's shooting test is different. Some are similar to each other, but in general, it's made up by the person submitting the lesson plan in the course for approval through the BCA in the first place. So, just for example, total defense in Ramsey's test is going to be completely different than Bill's gun range in Hudson, and those two are completely different than our test, which is completely different than Horse and Hunt Club, whoever might be instructing there. So also an interesting fact.
I know what both of you were talking. There is me and Jim were actually after one of these kind of talking, and we're looking into some of the online stuff, right? So competition, admittedly. And there's this one, it's, I'll name this one. It's nothing local. It's a fly-by-night operation, in my opinion. It's U.S. Concealed Online. They have a 763 phone number. They have a little picture of Minnesota, right?
Very deceiving.
Yeah. Join the thousands of Minnesota residents who've already qualified. Legal concealed carry in Minnesota. If you live in Minnesota and want to conceal carry in 30 other states, our certification will work with you. Well, you go through it online. You pay $100, and what it is?
$100.
Yeah. What it is it's I believe it was Virginia.
It was the Virginia course,
which doesn't require a live fire exercise. Also, Minnesota does not honor their course, their permit. It doesn't work in Minnesota. I would be out $100+ for a permit I can't even carry in my backyard. And worse, there are people out there who are going to be fooled by this.
Oh,
that's a problem.
Plenty, I'm sure.
Well, you said they had a 763 phone number, but do you remember where the address was when we looked it up?
Nevada, as I recall.
Yeah, right now, it's State Line, Nevada.
A Nevada company advertising a Virginia permit in Minnesota.
As a Minnesota permit. It is.
And trying to give you the impression they're a local company.
It is.
Oh, they're doing everything they can.
Yeah. And I don't know, that really bugs me. There are some good ones out there that are honest about what they are, and you can do, an online permit, and you can even find a local instructor, right? I think USCCA does that. We're not affiliated in that sense, but Rocket CCW does that, where you can take their online coursework and you can find a local instructor. But
So here's kind of the best case scenario. One, come to us, right?
absolutely,
I mean,
Two,
that's the smart move, right?
if you don't live in the metro, because we're primarily in the metro, if you don't live in the metro, but you live in Minnesota, you want a Minnesota permit, right? The Minnesota BCA website lists all the certified training providers and their locations. You can search by zip code, right? That's the best, most accurate spot to go for an instructor near you.
and
Last for what it's worth, last time we looked, there were 477 companies listed.
Yep.
So
And
there should
truthfully,
be
I would
somebody near you.
gladly help people who do not live in the metro who want a good referral for somewhere else. I will gladly point somebody in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not in the metro, if you're down south or you're up north, the
I
other.
mean, I have plenty of connections in the gun community of other instructors not near us that, would love to help other people out. And, it's a good little community of instructors that, we shoot students their way, they shoot students our way. It's a community, and we'd love to keep it that way. And so if anybody needs help, certainly go to our website. We'll be glad to help you. If we're not the people for you or we're not near you, we'll be glad to help you find somebody.
So, not to just pick on permit to carry companies. The other reason I wanted to talk about this is there's a story out of Santa Clara County in California. 4 indicted in Santa Clara County Sheriff concealed gun permit scandal. So some of you may understand the difference between may issue and shall issue.
Right.
Shall issue is what it is. You will issue a permit unless said individual is denied for one of these reasons, right? You're a felon, other things along those lines. May issue is at discretion of the local issuing authority. So in California, what's going on is some sketchy sheriffs, some sketchy sheriff deputies are finding ways to get paid under the table to issue permit to carry. And right now, a lot of them are pleading the fifth. But so it's, thankfully here in Minnesota, we are a shall issue state.
Well, I was just say I've told this story before, but I had a student last year who maintains a Minnesota permit because his parents still live here, but he lives near San Francisco. I couldn't tell you which specific county because I don't know. But he went to the sheriff and asked about getting a permit to carry, and they said, we tend to limit that to those that are in the sheriff's posse. And he said, okay, I'd love to join that. What's it take? And they said, usually at least $5,000.
Yeah.
To me, that sounds like a bribe.
I wonder how long that gets you.
I don't know.
One permit?
Yeah, is that a monthly membership? Is that a yearly membership? Is that a lifetime fee? I don't know.
Permit comes with other benefits.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly you'd have to re-up after the next sheriff takes office too, right?
Yeah. Well, what I was reading on it is it really seems to be for, there's large payments in the, $40,000 to $90,000 amount. It tends to be for those private security individuals who work for high-profile clients, right? So it's really not even the individuals getting a permit that are footing the bill. It's their company or their employer. But it's the people writing the rules telling you can't have guns to protect yourself, but we can have people with guns to protect us, right? Rules for thee, not rules for me. And it's just another thing that really freaking bugs me.
Well, I mean, the definition of leadership implies that you're a good follower. So if you can't follow the rules that you're making everybody else follow, you're not a leader.
Mm-hmm. That's a good comment here that I wanna mention. We talk about it in our permit to carry classes, but permit to carry badges are complete BS. You should not buy one of those on Amazon. You should never carry a permit to carry badge. that is impersonating a law officer. It gives you nothing. You know, all that's important here in Minnesota is that if you're carrying, you have your permit to carry and your ID. That's what you need to carry. You
If
don't
I'm going to be blunt about that, you gain nothing, you can lose everything.
exactly.
Don't do that.
It's bad. It's
Don't do that.
really, really bad and wrong.
Your best case scenario is you're out the cost of the badge. That's as good as it gets.
I mean, I can understand
Everything else is
the
downhill from
process
there.
behind it, right? You're trying to show something that shows some sort of, I don't know, legality or something to what you're doing, but that is not what happens. It comes off as impersonating. It makes you a target. I mean, don't do it. Don't do it.
It's dumb. That's all there is to it. It's dumb. Don't do it. Oh man. Yeah, I was blown away reading that story out of California. I don't we joke and then California, and, it's
Well, what was that story out of Michigan you were going to talk about? What was it? An equivalent company of ours, and somebody has had criminal charges brought up against them because they were doing something.
Yeah, I think it was the same kind of thing that you were referring to earlier that happened here locally, where the guy.
Yeah, it seemed like it was kind of the same situation, but it had at least gone far enough that some members of the company had criminal charges filed against them.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe it was felony level. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I didn't look into it.
That
does sound right, because I do remember thinking that, they're not getting their gun rights back when they get out of jail. So yeah, it was felony level charges.
Yeah, and there was nullification of permits. Here we go. Concealed pistol instructor accused of giving non-legal courses. Muskegon County concealed pistol instructor is accused of providing courses that do not meet legal requirements, potentially invalidating licenses for people who attended classes. Right, and that's the fear. That's the thing I hate to think about, somebody carrying illegally because of some shady, crappy instructor. So this guy looks like instructor issued course completion certifications between September 1st, 2019 and August 10th, 2020. And those people,
man, that's a long time.
I don't know how many, I don't know how big of a company this was, if it was just one guy, what have you, but I mean, you're looking at anywhere from tens to thousands of people, right?
Yeah. I mean,
we're definitely a large company when it comes to this, but in our case, that would be thousands.
Yeah.
Or, the individual shop, it could, be tens, dozens, but, it could be into the hundreds as well.
yeah, if they're a reputable company, I mean, you're easily into hundreds, probably into thousands.
Oh.
Especially given the current climate.
Yeah, right. Another comment here, and this is one I've heard a lot. A guy told me he wouldn't make me shoot after the class. If they're going to skimp on that, what else are they cutting courses on?
Well, and why would you want to take it?
Yeah. It's Jim, you have a good experience from your first permit to carry, I believe, with I don't really care where it's.
Well, to be honest, that was the same guy that we're talking about. I took his class, and he put, I didn't count, but there was like 10, 12 of us all in the range at one time. We each have our own shooting bay. We each have our own gun. He's supposedly supervising all 10 or 12 of us at once by himself. And he literally uttered the words, "I don't care if you hit the target, as long as it looks like you're putting the lead in the right direction." And I kind of thought, I think we can do a little better than that.
Yeah, I think you can just a little bit better.
I demand we do better. Personally.
Yeah, well, let's be totally honest about it. As a company, we do a better job than that.
Yes.
I mean,
We are individually supervising, and you do have to hit the paper,
Yeah.
and a certain number of times.
a beat on every other company. Oh my God, like we're the freaking best. Like, no, there's a lot of good, reputable companies here.
There's a ton of good companies. In
Oh.
fact, some of
Yeah.
our stiffest competition they're great companies. In
Mhm.
fact, I mean,
Yeah, like I said, there's last
some
we
of
checked,
this-
there's 477 companies out there, and we're talking about one bad egg.
I mean, some of us have taken those classes in some variation or another, whatever it might be. And I mean, I've been through some of them.
Yep.
You know, not just as a student, but like, I mean, good information, good processes, great, you know, skill building,
Mhm.
teaching moments. Like they're good people, just like us, that want to do good, want to get guns in the right hands and grow the gun community. I mean, we have been bashing a little bit here, but there's a ton, especially in the state.
Well, I just like I said, I want to say what we're saying is we're generally bashing one company who has clearly been found to be doing things wrong because the state authority has yanked their accreditation.
It's more than one company, though. There are the fly-by-night operations, like I said, that,
Sorry, one local company.
you know, and we don't know what happened with that company. You know, for us, our shooting test is not the most intensive thing, but I think we get what we need out of it. We know that you know how to operate your firearm in a safe manner, and you know how to put rounds on target. For us, it's 20 rounds at 21 feet. We expect 15 out of 20 on target. We expect a magazine change, and we're going to help you with it if you have some issues. That's, you know, the other thing. It's not just
Yeah, that's what we're there for.
oh, you only had 14 on target, get out of here. It's okay, well, let's load another mag up. Let's figure out, is it your grip? Are you anticipating the shot? Are you closing your eyes? Are you cross-eyed? The one that gets me every time. I'll spend 3-4 mags and yeah, I see the target, we're good, and then they're, you know, cross-eyed.
Let's use a better term though than cross-eyed. It's cross-body dominant with their eye. Cross-eyed is an entirely different thing.
Fair enough, you are correct. I used the wrong term. You're just mad
No,
at
the way I tell people about it is it's like the driver's test when you were 16 and you wanted to get your driver's license. It isn't you're showing that you're a great driver, but it's expected that you're going to continue and get better.
That's the exact analogy I use too. You're not a good driver when you get your license.
talking
The
about.
same is going to be true if this is the beginning of your training, right? You get your permit to carry doesn't mean you're a good shooter or a good carrier, right? It
No.
means that you've successfully passed that minimum proficiency.
Yeah, I mean, I think we tell everybody it's we're going to get you to a passing point, but boy, this is just you just dipped your toe in the water. This is a perishable skill you need to work it on. You need to practice. We're going to show you, you know, how to hold the firearm, how to aim, how to, you know, pull the trigger without anticipating your shot. But man, yeah, we'll get you through it in the class, but there's so much more to it than just that.
AJ, I think this is a perfect time for your line at the end of the course. If you want to carry a gun, you better be good at it. And that means that you are practicing with a desired outcome in mind. This is not something where you just go to the range every 5 years to requalify.
Yep. Yeah, and it's you know, a good point to touch back on. You know, the state just says you will have a live fire test. It doesn't tell you that it needs to meet this standard or this, you know, it needs to be 16 shots at this, 4 shots at that, 3 mag changes, and draw from concealment. So it's, you know, if that's not what you're being asked to do, if that's not what they're working towards, you need to reevaluate, look at them. And, you know, I don't know, I'd be asking for my money back, so. But I mean, that's me. Oh, what else you guys got? What else you want to dig into? It's a whole bunch of stuff I don't want to talk about. Because, you know, it's been a weird couple weeks, as we say every other week.
Well, you know, in the weirdest year I can remember, yeah, it's been a weird last couple of weeks even on top of it.
To be
So,
clear, when I say it's been a weird last couple of weeks, I still look at last week as like, March. So, um,
You're not wrong. Like I said, it's been the longest 7 days in the shortest 7 years of COVID ever, right? Like that's what it feels like. 7 days and 7 years all in one. When in reality it's 7 months.
yeah, and
and it's not really a subject I want to get into for fear of getting too far down that political rabbit hole, but there's so many people out there now that are rushing to defend property. And definitely there are stories like that have been very prominent in the news, even up into today. And I just wonder where that's going, where we as a society are going, where the police are not able to rein in what is going on with the public because they weren't designed to do that. The public was supposed to largely regulate itself and behave, and then the police were just supposed to deal with the exceptions. But in so many cities, so many nights now, there is violent activity going on, and people want to make sure that their business or maybe their neighbor's business or even people they don't know, aren't targets of stuff like that. And you get down to the letter of the law, that's not legal, but I understand where they're coming from when they do it. So I'm just, it's just one of those where in the back of my mind, that's just one of those, I wonder where all this is going to lead up to, because it's certainly not looking good that this is the way at least some people think we need to act at the moment.
Without digging too deep into any specific political issue or things, I I sincerely hope that if nothing else comes out of this, that we use the term panic buying since the beginning of COVID because of ammunition going. The supplies are getting low. Guns themselves are getting harder to find. Obviously, people are taking classes in record numbers. If nothing else, I hope that this whole scenario has at least opened the eyes to people about how important the Second Amendment really is. Because when things started to get weird and things started to get dangerous in our own backyard, clearly one of the first things people did is went to the stores to try and find a way to defend themselves and their families.
Well, what are you going to do when the police, and I'm not blaming the police, when the police can't be there, what are you left with? When your adversary is armed, even if it's not firearms, but they're armed, right? Firearms are an equalizer in my view. Like that's what I appreciate about them when it comes to self-defense. It puts me and the aggressor on an hopefully equal and honestly hopefully unequal skewed towards me.
In your favor, yeah.
But at the very least, an equal platform. I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the strongest guy. And I would say the same thing. You can take a 6'4", 200 and whatever pound, individual, and a 5'4", 100-pound another individual. Like, if this person chooses to do violence against you, physical attributes are not enough, right? The only thing that evens that playing field, if you will, are firearms. It is an equalizer. It's the only thing you have at your disposal at that point when the police aren't there. And let's be honest, the police are never going to be there. They are always going to be minutes away, and a lot can happen in a short span.
Well, but the police are designed to be reactive, not proactive. Their job is to secure the scene after a crime is committed and then investigate, figure out who's responsible, and make sure they're held accountable. There's nothing in the charter of the police force that says they're supposed to be preventing anything. That's not what they're to do.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we kind of need them to do that right now, and they're not equipped.
We've seen Supreme Court case law where it's the police don't have a duty to protect. If it's too sketchy, if it's too bad, it's too violent, they don't have a duty to protect you. I understand that. I get it. Right? They have their own lives, their own families that they need to worry about. So it's we've when it comes down to what I fear about this year is they're going to use this panic buying, and we've already seen it where it's, you know, we've seen the Nick's check take longer and longer to a point where many checks are taking longer than the allotted period. And, you know, I forget if it's 3 business days or 7 business days.
3.
3.
3, thank you. You know, I saw an ad today where it was every town for gun safety and moms demand action. That, you know, these companies are exploiting I forget what loophole they tagged it as, but you can go to Fleet Farm, you can try to buy a gun, and it's going to take you 7 days. They're not going to sell you that gun until they get a clear from the NICS system. But we're seeing, you know, moms demand action, every town for gun safety, saying, well, look at all these guns because it's taking 7 days on average for a NICS check. All these felons are getting guns. All these prohibited persons are getting guns. And my fear is they're going to find ways to spin this. And a lot of these people who went out and bought firearms now to protect themselves in a moment of panic are not going to really understand because nothing bad's going to happen to them, thankfully. And they're just going to, you know, back and put it up in the closet, and we're going to go vote for that, you know, common sense gun control bull.
Well, and I think part of it is too, you know, we're all in discussion groups and forums, and things will get posted by an anti-gun group, and people will, in response, say, "Oh, they don't even know what they're talking about. Look at how they get the terminology wrong," and they don't care. It isn't important to the people that don't want us to have guns that they don't understand the terminology. They just know they need to take away the guns. So, I mean, we're sitting there. I mean, it's really just verbal masturbation that we're sitting there making fun of them for not knowing the terms, because we're missing the whole point if that's what we're arguing about.
Yeah.
But to add to it too, I mean, it's not just the NICS check when you're buying a gun. I mean, other than Dakota County, is anybody in the metro area running a decent schedule as far as accepting applications?
My last understanding is that Anoka County isn't doing too bad, but don't quote me on that.
I mean, what last we heard, Hennepin County was already out into October and their appointment only. I haven't confirmed it, but somebody told me Ramsey County is even further out.
Yeah, November, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
Wow. Interesting. It's
you know, and they're making allowances if your driver's license expires and you can't get in. But if your permit expires and you can't get in, they don't care.
No
You're just going
leeway.
to be without a permit for a while. And you're going to pay the fees that go along with missing the deadlines too. You're not going to get any grace period on those because it's somebody else's fault.
Yep.
yeah, it's funny. They'll make sure you get your privilege, but not your right.
Yeah, this is another prime example, and this is one of Jim's biggest pet peeves is people waiting to the last minute. This is a prime example of why you should not wait to the last minute, right?
Yeah.
The company,
Yeah.
right? Us, Twin Cities Carry, there's a wait between finishing your course and getting to the shooting range. As of this morning, we're not doing too bad in comparison to the last few months. We're about a week out, plus or minus. Right? Some people don't have a week.
Yeah.
What if a week is 2 weeks or 3 weeks? If you're 3 weeks out to do the shooting test to get your certificate, right? Then you know you
Well,
think
I mean,
you're in line, but
simple
now you got to
example-
wait 2 more months to go to the sheriff's office.
Yeah, the simple example is at least we're not the bottleneck anymore. You know, we're a week or two out. You live in Hennepin County. Geez, it's 6 weeks before you're going to get into the sheriff.
Yep.
You live in Ramsey County. Apparently, it's even longer.
There's 6 of us right now as instructors in the company. We are at a range, no joke, literally every single day in September, one of us is at a range handling 17 to 20 students.
The number could be more than 20. There is one exception. We are not working on Labor Day.
Okay, well,
So we're working 29 of the 30 days in September. And yeah, I mean, 15 to 17 is the minimum. There are lots of days where that number goes well over 20. And I mean, that's hours at the range. That's a big commitment.
yeah. So it's we're doing everything we can, but we all have a regular day job. Almost all of us have a regular day job, but it's we had to flex and pivot to address and to figure these things out.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is we didn't know this surge was coming.
Doing everything we
Blindsided just like everybody else, but I do finally feel like we're over the hump. We have made significant progress, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. We're just about there.
Yeah, yeah, we're getting there. Another interesting comment. So your class certificate is good for 1 year, and you can apply for 90 days before an extension. On a renewal question, yes, that is accurate. The certificate you get from us is good for 1 year from the date on the certificate. You can apply for your new permit up to 90 days prior to your expiration date on your permit to carry.
And that's true for all companies in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a company rule. That's state law. State law says your training has to have been completed in the last 12 months.
Yep.
But yeah, if you do that math, you can take your class literally 15 months ahead of when you expire. So what I tell people when we're having class is when you get your next permit and you see the only date on it, which is the expiration date, just put a mark on your calendar 1 year prior to that. That's when you start looking for your class. You're in your window at that point.
Yeah. Man, there's another one. Okay. I don't want to get too crazy. If it's gun ban, will it be on certain ammo? So I actually don't believe there'll ever be a gun ban at a federal level. I think it makes for good saber rattling, but I think the motives of Bloomberg and Everytown for Gun Safety and Mom Demand Action, they know that they're not going to get another 94 crime bill, right? They're not going to get another assault weapons ban at a federal level. They're not interested in tackling it at a federal level. They are seeing what they can get passed in the most progressive of states, like your Oregon or your California, and they're targeting at a local level. That being said,
Because if they can get it past there, they can scale that to a national level, right?
Well, and look at what they accomplished in Virginia. That state went from being very gun friendly to very unfriendly in a matter of months.
So I think Virginia
is incredible how fast that changed.
I think Virginia is a little unique.
Anything that's right around the DC area like that is definitely unique. That's not like the other probably say 45 states, but yeah, it amazed me how quickly that state almost completely flipped.
So I think the issue with Virginia, and why I say it's a little unique, and I would agree it was night and day. Virginia state governors are not allowed to serve consecutive terms. They've been barred from immediate re-election since the adoption of their second constitution, because I suspect that probably had to do with that whole Civil War thing. And so they can't go immediate re-election. So their current governor is most likely unconcerned about his prospects for re-election, and so Northam, just decided to push a bunch of stuff through. So again, I don't think they care one bit about federal level, national level, right? They're going to keep dumping stupid amount of money into local elections, and we can see it here in Minnesota. We're part of their agenda. We're a fairly progressive state in that thing, in that side of things, and so, they don't care about the federal ban. It's great to stoke the fears, but it's not going to happen. So, another one in here. Permit to carry is good for 5 years, right? That is correct. Permit to carry is good for 5 years from the date of issuance. It's the only date they put on your permit to carry, right? It's the only date that matters. Jim likes to tell you to go ahead and, pop into your phone calendar, set a date for, 4 years in the future so you can take your permit to carry early and make sure you have everything lined up. As Jim said, we're seeing, was it Ramsey and, or not Ramsey, Hennepin County, they're booked out months in advance. Dakota County is doing really freaking good right now, where they're 2-3.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Dakota County for being on the ball. They're doing a great job. It's nice to see.
Mm-hmm. You know, the further you get out from the metro, the more.
And I understand some of this is capacity too. I mean, I've heard that Hennepin County is booking appointments about every 10 minutes. They just have so many people that they need to get in that they're booked out till November. And I think they're probably in the same boat we are. They got hit with a surge that they just didn't have the infrastructure in place to accommodate, and they've had to, roll with the punches as best they can.
Yeah.
If we give them the benefit of the doubt.
As we all have. Again, been a weird 2020. And that's, it's not just us that are backed up, right? It's not just the county sheriffs. It's the ammo manufacturers. It's the, I've been complaining to you guys privately about a holster taking 35 days to get shipped for one of the most common carry firearms there is. But it's everybody and it's everything.
And it all started with toilet paper.
Yeah, it did.
I'm doing good on that. I still got about 4,000 rolls left.
Right. Treat that stuff like it's stock. Yeah,
I'm going to return it next week, I think.
Oh, where was I? There was some place I was. Minnesota Home Outlet, and I'm not joking. It was 10 feet tall and 15 feet wide of a pile of toilet paper like a month ago.
How much?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't need any toilet paper.
I see something that I'm just figuring out. Where's the spot where I can run off and jump into it?
Right.
Fun.
You hit on yeah.
I get thrown out of the store, but that's a whole different story.
Another one. Two things in here I want to touch on. Do we send email reminders, Jim? I'll let you handle that.
If you want to go a strict dictionary definition of the word reminder, we do not. We send confirmations on a lot of things, but you've made an appointment for 3 weeks from now, 2 days ahead. I'm not sending you a reminder. No.
So
we assume that you're responsible and can keep track of your appointments.
To be clear, though, if you send us a note that says, "Hey, none of these dates work," let me know about future dates.
But see, that's not a reminder in my mind. That's what I'm saying.
I wonder if Steve's not referring to 4 years from now.
Well, that's a good point. Given the
maybe we need clarification of the question.
Let's take it though. Let's.
I fully intend to remind those coming up on their 5-year mark that they're going to need to renew, and AJ will be there knocking on your door, reminding you, "Hey, Twin Cities Carry's still here. We're still ready for you."
And just so you can get that thought out of your head, he'll be knocking on your virtual door.
But no.
Oh no, actual door. I got a very long list of naughty and nice.
Yeah. No, we're absolutely going to shoot you a reminder at a 5-year point that says, "Hey, we think it went well the first time."
Yeah, if you were one of our students, we will give you a reminder to sign up for another class. But yeah, if you're looking for a reminder that you have an appointment a week or 3 from now, no, we don't send those.
I think I might use a liquor analogy this year. Hey, you remember us 4 years ago? We've aged 4 years. We only get better with time. Like a fine wine or a fancy whiskey or
waiting to see where this goes.
Rubbing alcohol. I don't know.
Oh, only ammo I have is 30-06 and 22. They make a 30-06 carry pistol. I am sure somebody makes a pistol in 30-06.
Well, I mean, you could certainly get a Thompson Contender in 30-06, and I think that would be classified as a pistol. But, being as it's a single shot, I wouldn't think it's a good choice.
I would say go ahead and go get yourself an AR pistol in, 300 Blackout or whatever you want, right? throw a brace on it and call it good.
I mean, that's a fun topic that I like to broach in class and just in general conversation. Minnesota doesn't have the limitation on the number of pistols a person can carry. And with the newfound glory of turning ARs and other assault rifles into pistols or classifying them as such, a person could really have a lot of firepower on him. I mean, if a guy went as far as to have multiple 300 blackout pistols with very large capacity magazines, that's an interesting thought nonetheless.
You know, as a comment on a 50, I've seen 50 AE handguns, right? Well, you know, your Deagles, your Desert Eagles and whatnot, but I have not seen a 50 BMG handgun. I've seen, you know, 500 Magnums, 500 Smith & Wessons, whatnot. 50 BMG Thunder. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's exactly what you expect it to be. It's a breech lock firearm. Single shot pistol chambered in 50 BMG. It's a different type of firepower than versus capacity. I mean, you guys know
That's for squirrel hunting, right?
Yeah, heck yeah.
At 2,000
That's for squirrel hunting when the squirrel is on the other side of the neighbor's house, through the refrigerator, through the TV, through the car.
Yeah, it's squirrel hunting at 1,000 yards.
Oh. It's about proving a point to the other squirrels at that point, Jim.
Sending a message.
No, you guys know I've been looking at a 9mm AR pattern pistol because it is I don't need the rifle round capacity. I want something that fits in a backpack or something that fits concealably in a trunk and a backpack easily, so that I have an easier to control platform with the ability to put down a fair amount of fire should I ever need to. It's I don't know. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? But I'm into some weird stuff as it is when it comes to guns. So, I don't know. There's one thing I wanted to mention. We're doing our best to not get political and not get into riot talk, and everybody's getting enough of that everywhere else. It's nothing changes for you as a permit holder, as a permit to carry CCW in Minnesota, whether it's in your everyday passing or you're caught in a riot, right? The requirements, the stipulations, the law, they don't change. It's still the same rule. You need to be in fear of great bodily harm. You need to have no reasonable means of retreat, no lesser force will do. Nothing changes for you. Your best course is avoidance, in my opinion. I'm not saying you shouldn't be out protesting. I'm not saying you shouldn't be out, for whatever your message is, peacefully. But, we've seen what happens when it gets dark out at night, and we've seen what happens when people...
Well, but I mean, the First Amendment right to peaceable assembly and protest, I mean, that is one of our greatest rights. Absolutely take advantage of it. But the word peaceful is important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't stress enough, whether you carry or not, in this climate, this day and age, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, is to not put yourself in a situation you cannot get out of, and always have an exit strategy. Simple as that.
That's what I think the gun is just one more tool available to me to make an exit strategy if I need it to. The hope is that I'm not there in the first place, but it's just one more thing available to me just so that I can get out of there. That's always the goal, not be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just wanted to touch on that. I'm going to roll back to another comment, really hit on the comments tonight. Look at the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 and 9mm. Absolutely. as
Yeah, those were hard to find before there was a rush on guns.
they're coming
So, I
out.
mean, talk about something that you're not going to find in the store very well.
They have a second generation coming out though of the Kel-Tec Sub 2000. I believe it is integrally silenced. So yeah, no, it's a good priced gun. I think it's a good gun. It's just an ugly gun.
I agree with that. Everybody who has one absolutely loves them, and you can do a lot to them. You can really customize them, but damn, if they're kind of ugly.
Oh, not kind of. They're straight up ugly. And they're good. They're priced pre-COVID. They were priced really well at I think right around $500. They take Glock pattern mags, 9mm.
Well, they come in 4 different variants based on what kind of mag you want to use, the Glock being one. So, I mean, there's a lot of versatility there. You can get them in a Glock variant, you can get them a SIG variant, you can get them in a Beretta variant, and I forget what the 4th one is. But, yeah, I mean, it's a great platform.
Yeah, they're ugly. Let's be honest. They're not cool looking. They don't look tactical enough. But no, they're absolutely a good gun. I think Kel-Tec's one of those companies that kind of pushes the envelope on design, that pushes the envelope on what polymer can do.
Yeah, and there have been some failures, but that particular platform is a success.
Oh, absolutely.
If we can get past the aesthetics, which you guys seem to have trouble doing.
I'm hung up on it. It's got to be pretty.
Yeah, I can't afford a CZ Scorpion, so that's the problem. I am a poor at this point when it comes to guns. Okay. Well, coming up on an hour. It's kind of where we usually end it. You guys got anything else you want to touch on?
No, and I didn't get any comments on the Facebook page or in the group page again, so I don't have anything to read in.
Well,
No, I kind of came into this with no agenda today.
I mean,
Honestly, I got nothing more. I mean,
I
I
did.
feel like the 3 of us were sitting at the bar today chatting about guns and the good old days. A time I like to refer to as pre-co.
Yeah. Well, I've just recently been allowed out of the house again, so I've gotten my conversations on guns in.
The judge finally let you out, huh? That's nice.
Well, doing my part to stop the spread and adhering to the quarantine. So
Your poor wife.
what are you talking about? Poor me.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it sucked for her. I am not
Not
good.
wrong.
I am whiny when it comes to being sick, but no, I definitely got out, and man, the first person that would listen to me talk about firearms, did I let them know? Oh man, all of us are too poor for an Alien Lago. You guys do anything else tonight? Take a look at the Alien Lago pistol. It is interesting. It is innovative, and good God, is it spendy? So, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. We'll be back in 2 weeks, guys?
Yep.
A little more organized, maybe. But, all right. Thanks,
Maybe.
everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You can find us on Facebook, on YouTube tomorrow if you don't want to sit through the whole thing tonight. All right. You guys have a good night. Take it easy.
Take care.